Are you ready for a roller coaster ride? Welcome to the Kiev Major Grand Final. We're down to just 2. It is an amazing final, set up perfectly with the Boston Major champions, 3-time Major champions and winners OG, going head-to-head against the hometown favourites. Virtus.pro have reached their first ever Major final and the first one for the CIS region as well. We're around about 15 minutes away from our first game of the day. It is a best of 5 as well, and we'll take you through all of the action, including the draft, right up to the start of game 1. Before that, though, we do have a panel for our grand final, and they will be taking you through the tournament. We'll be talking about tournament favourites, our favourite moments, and of course leading you right into game 1. So let's catch up with our panel members. We've got Gods, Melini and Folt. Good afternoon. Welcome to the grand final.
Hello again.
Is this the grand final you thought you'd get?
We almost rigged it. Virtus.pro.
Well, I was wondering whether you rigged it or whether production rigged it. Because there's a little bit of...
I cursed all the teams to lose except for Virtus.pro.
You're actually
OG.
Thank you, Ben. You're actually making my bracket look really good.
No problem.
So you have Virtus.pro in your bracket.
I did put VP as final. I think I may have actually had OG versus VP as finals.
Wow.
I think I may have.
He pretends like he doesn't know.
He does, but then he does.
No, I don't remember which ones I put. The rest of my bracket is definitely atrocious, but I definitely had those two meeting each other. I'm pretty
up
sure.
until the semi-finals as well, my friend, you were doing well on the predictions. You were tied with Owie, 11-6, and now you're 11-8.
I went with Ben the last game.
You can still salvage this, but you need to get 3 right.
I got this.
Yeah. That's what happens when you don't let production do your predictions for you. Gods.
They did the last one. Get out of here.
11-9 on your predictions. Done well so far. It's been a tough tournament.
Okay.
You've sat in the cursed chair throughout as well. You've had that to contend with.
Had some tough predictions on some of the Brazilian games too. Those
They've
guys
ruined
completely. They probably had more than half of my wrong predictions in just because of how much of a surprise that was.
Yeah, we actually calculated. We did some calculations for you earlier. If you had got the games right, because you bet against them when they won, and then you bet with them when they lost, which kind of made it even worse. Your predictions, if you had got all of those right, would be currently 15-4.
That sounds a lot better than sounds a lot better than 10-8 or something.
Just got ruined by one team. Amazing. Again, I'll come to you, Ben. Is it the 2 teams you thought heading into this tournament, or even halfway through? You can even take it from the round of 16 after we'd seen a few matches.
Let's say top 5 were definitely going to be like OG, IG, EG.
Our top 4 that we had is
Pros.
pretty much what all of us had in our top 4.
Aside from Secret. I think Secret from the group stage looked pretty good, and we thought their bracket was going to be easy. But yeah, no big surprise on the top 4 here. No grand finalists, especially after we saw what happened.
Yeah. All right, let's introduce you to our 2 grand final teams. The first one doesn't really need an introduction, but we'll give one anyway. The 5 men from OG. They are triple major champions already. An incredible run, Gods, from these boys, and not just some of them, all of them effectively are already major champions. Obviously, Anna winning with the team at Boston, but also Jerak's in there as well, having been in finals with Liquid as well. He's got some form in majors too. What is it about these people? How do they do it every time?
They're some of the greatest minds that have come into Dota. I mean, if you look at Fly and what he's done with various teams, even going back a couple of years where he wasn't like performing on the top teams, he made a kind of ragtag group of complexity players go really deep into a TI. This guy's always been a great mind, a great captain. Individual players like Notel S4 have always been phenomenal. Jerix was, I think, the best player of 2016 as far as like breakout players, just great individual players. And Anna's like looking to be one of the best players of 2017.
Yeah,
I forgot that. They made complexity go far in a TI. I don't think you stressed that enough.
Yes.
There's no need to beat up on teams
That's
that aren't
very
here, Ben.
impressive.
Kyle's not even here to defend
Yeah,
himself.
exactly. You're going to wait until Kyle's in the room before you start
There's
that
a
stuff.
reason why, because Fly's not on his team.
In terms of No-Tail, we've got some fun stats here. This is a monumental final for this young man because he's 3 games away from recording 100 wins in Valve tournaments, which only 3 other players have ever done already. They did that at this tournament. And perhaps more astonishingly, 1 tournament victory away from 100 tournament wins.
That's like absurd. That counts online and everything too, though, right? So
I believe so. I'll have to check with notes, but I believe it does.
because 100 is over.
Have there even been 100
I don't think so. That's why it's like, it has to be. But
Ducks, what's happening?
Ben's been
100's
asleep
a
for
lot.
most of them anyways. It doesn't really matter. But it's incredible, isn't it? How the heck has that happened? It's an incredible career.
I mean, these 2 guys, No-Tail Fly,
Yeah.
can't stress on it more. Honestly, these 2 guys are not only just in the game, incredible, but out of the game, I'm like 100% sure how much they influence the other players on their team. They just bring them up all the time.
Okay, there is also the small matter of the fact that they've never lost a major final either. They've had 3 out of 3 so far. They're in their 4th final as an organisation. I wonder whether that will stay on as well. Let's take a look at their opponents. It is the hometown team. We've been talking about them all the way through. It's Virtus.pro. And Gods, this is in many ways retribution for the team after failing at Boston Major miserably in many people's eyes because they were on such a hot streak and potentially the favourites to win the whole thing.
Yeah, it's kind of their second chance in some ways, and I think for VP they have had a pretty good track record against OG. They actually played against them in the Summit Finals and Best of 5 and 3-0'd them, so I think they've got maybe some confidence on their side. They have that belief. They know they can beat OG, but really it really feels like this is their time. They're playing in a CIS Major. They finally hit this amazing form once again that they kind of had at Boston, but maybe lacked a bit of versatility. They've now got that versatility, a bit more wider, more diverse hero pool, and VP right now look absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and to you know, because the boxing was good last night, to throw a boxing analogy, these guys are the Ali of the ring right now because they're coming in with a bit of a swagger, frankly. I mean, that semi-final was borderline disrespectful with the bans and the picks all the way through in the first game.
Yeah, and their execution was unbelievable, unmatched almost. I would say those are probably some of the biggest highlight reels I can actually remember in quite a while.
Was it the most dominant performance that we've seen in the knockout stages in that semi-final against IG?
Yeah, I think IG showed a little bit of some signs of life, but overall, yeah, I mean, VP was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Home crowd.
Yeah, and if they carry that kind of form in, do you think that maybe carries them through this final? I mean, God's pointed out already they've got some form against OG too.
Yeah, all-time record, 14-10.
Yeah.
So winning record versus OG. They also utilized 2 heroes that no other team has really played too much. Ursa and Magnus. They win with these 2 heroes.
Don't forget the Veno.
Yeah, but that's not that common. They've only picked it a couple of games, whereas Magnus and Ursa has been in like 80% of their games almost.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be a difficult team to ban against. So let's take a look at the social media predictions as well, because there have been some votings going on. So what have we got for us? Oh, we nearly got it. Oh, instead we're going to get a question. Okay, that kind of threw me. I thought we were going to get the predictions rather than... Can we fix that? Perfect. Okay. Twitter says OG 55, Virtus.pro 45.
That's
okay.
Very close.
It is very close. Do we have the Twitch predictions as well?
Especially for Twitter, right? I feel like that's like a lot more even than I would think it would be.
Okay. So Twitch has gone the other way.
Where's our VK predictions?
Well, and you've got to imagine the CIS viewers are predominantly on the Russian stream, so that shows a lot of faith in VP from the Western viewers.
Yeah, 60-40. I'm going to ask you for your predictions overall as well. Fog?
I think that this is actually a very good matchup for VP. The way that they play, their super aggressive play style as well. I mean, maybe it's a little biased because I'm looking at my bracket too, but I thought that they've been playing phenomenal, and I think they have a really good matchup versus OG in their team fight. These guys have been like the kings of team fight already.
Yep. Okay, so VP for you, Ben?
I think VP as well, just because I think they can actually end the game early.
Okay. I just want to remind you of your responsibility here. I'm just saying.
Ben went with me. Wait.
It's too late. Don't worry. He is 6-15 for the tournament prediction. I just want to point that out to you. But both of you are going for VP.
It's only 40%.
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad. It's slightly worse than a coin flip.
Quite a bit worse than a coin flip, but okay.
Slightly.
Yeah. Gods?
Loose.
No, it's better than a coin flip. Coin flip 50-50, you know, but yours isn't 50-50.
Yeah, quite. Gods, are you going to balance this up a little bit with OG? How would you back against a team who've never lost in a major final?
See, that's my thoughts is, like, I look at the play styles, I look at how VP have played and how dominant they've been, and in my head, it's like, that's a good matchup versus OG. They play faster, they hit timings before OG's ready to fight. OG match up well against EG because I think both of those teams do play slower pace. And in theory, in my head, like VP should do well against OG, but then I'm like, wait, this is OG major champions. Like they always seem to win series they go into, and they don't look like favorites, but they just win.
And to be fair, they haven't played spectacularly well at this tournament, and yet somehow find themselves in the grand final.
They have this champions mentality.
Yeah.
I think that's something that very few teams in the Dota scene have. I think EG maybe have it, not that they showed it here today. But there's, I think, a couple of teams out there which you look at them and you're like, yeah, these guys are real championship quality. They'll win matches even when they're playing badly. They'll win matches when they're underdogs, even when they perhaps shouldn't be underdogs. And I think OG is like the definition of that. They just win despite not being favorites.
Okay, so you're going with OG.
Yes.
He just doesn't want to get yelled at by Seb. I can picture Seb right now. Right? As soon as me and Ben did VP, he's like, yeah, typical them.
I have, to be fair, my predictions, I do have OG, like, from day one. Like, I had it for Boston. I think they're underrated there. I mean, this tournament, they weren't underrated. People coming into the tournament, it's like OG, IG, the favorites. I have OG again. I've always just believed so much in this team's ability to win big major events.
Okay. And in terms of coaching, we've got two very big names on both sides. One, perhaps not from his playing days, although he was a decent player in his time when he wanted to be. Mad on one side, and then a legend on the other side. How much influence are they going to have today?
Quite a lot. I think they're the guys that will influence the drafts the most, probably. I think that's Seb's biggest contribution, is he really helps studies and discusses drafts a lot with Fly. And I don't know too much about Outsell as a coach. He's only very recently moved into that.
Lil called him their sixth player.
Yeah. And I think from when he played and captained, he was very creative, had some really interesting approaches to the game in terms of draft play style. Like, he was doing all these like aggro tri-lanes, these very aggressive early roaming junglers. He was very much like a special draft in his own way. So I think both of them really will influence the picks a lot.
Melanie?
I think Seb's even more important because of how little downtime they had in between the series.
Right.
So they potentially going to have to play, 7 games in a row with 1 hour break in between. And obviously they knew who they were going to face going in, but like they were probably preparing for Evil Geniuses. And then after they win, they can prepare. But that's only an hour, and that's where Seb comes in. He's like, okay, when Game 3 looked like it was in the bag, which it never really was, then they can start preparing, but he doesn't have to deal with the stress of playing and all this other stuff. And
I was going to talk to you about that whole, do you break or straight in momentum thing, because teams are different, aren't they? Some teams prefer, Virtus.pro said to us a few days ago, they hate coming in playing first in the morning. They don't like playing first thing. They'd much rather come in the afternoon or even play really late. They'd much prefer that. They've been fine with that here. Which team benefits, do you think, in this? Or do you think there's not much to it in the sense that Virtus.pro get a longer break, but then maybe OG play better if they carry on playing and the momentum carries on?
They just got to watch OD. I think it would benefit VP. They just got to watch OG play out 2-hour-long games. They can really take a lot from those. I think they can even kind of work with how EG did. They recognize that, okay, they banned the Naga and the Alchemist, and then they first 2'd the Terrorblade. Okay, so maybe they're going to plan for the first 2 Terrorblade. Their heroes also match up pretty well versus that, their aggression. And then also, they share a similar mid kind of pool.
Yeah.
This guy loves to play TA. No one in Ana. I think if they really limit Ana in his hero pool, it's gonna really hurt OG.
Okay, very quickly, in one word, sum up why the crowd and the people watching at home are going to enjoy this grand final. Gods.
It's
one word.
VP playing on home soil.
Venomancer.
Aggression.
Okay, that is it for now from our panel members. We will hear more from them, of course, just after we get the teams in. This, then, ladies and gentlemen, is the Kiev Major Grand Final.
Team Random are done with game 1. They call GG.
The final chapter is about to be written, and these players are one win away from glory. They survived against the odds, and their path to the grand finals was a challenging one. Their teamwork was put to the test, and their ability pushed to the extreme. But they pulled through, defying expectations and rallying the crowd behind them. They now face an opponent unlike any other. The stage is set, and fear is not an option. Their sights are set, and there's no turning back.
Y is going to show himself immediately, going to be pounced on and shouldn't have much of a chance here, especially with Fly able to secure the kill. That being said, both Weaver and Night Stalker on their way, and they're very mobile heroes, but S4 can turn things around. He managed to get a 3-man ulti with the follow-up from Ana. They're going to be able to take all these kills.
It's not enough to finish off Ana. Shadow didn't have that much mana burnt in out now. Shadow's going to be caught. He doesn't have to blink away. He's dead.
80s catch the Centaur, but there is the extra hold. No Tails making sure that nobody from Faceless escapes alive.
Welcome on stage. Were shattered. And this team has been at the center of it all. Few have come close to their brilliance, but many have witnessed their skill. In a world where you're only as good as your last victory, this team has taken no prisoners.
They damage no one. They chase forward. RT gets there, but now the combo! Vacuum! Static Storm! Absolute destruction! Fitting out the back three-man ball and clutch! Lil now is his turn! With Zola dropping the ulti! Take this cage as it looks like while the bottom lane pushes in. Raindrak starting to take shift damage. Will no one go for the big play? He's trying for it and he gets it too! Snatching the Aegis out from under Vici. They had time there to grab it. They were slow on the draw and decisive.
They smashed rivals and set fire to reputations. Now, only one challenger remains. One final battle to conquer for the perfect end to their incredible run. Right here, right now. Welcome on stage, Virtus.pro!
We go then, grand finale time at the Kiev Major in front of a packed house at the National Palace of Arts. Virtus.pro on home soil will benefit from that home support, no doubt. Look at the crowd right now, going absolutely crazy for Virtus.pro. It's a very hostile environment. OG up against it, but they'll know all about it.
Absolutely, they're used to this. At Boston, it was Adfinem who had the crowd support. The very first major OG one, they were up against Team Secret in the finals, and that was back when Secret were kind of at the peak of their popularity. And this is a team who's not expecting to go in and have the crowd support necessarily. It doesn't bother them. It doesn't faze them at all. They just ignore it.
Yeah, No Tail came out, still arms are raised, still appreciative of the fans that they do have here as well. So plenty of experience. How much is that going to count in this final? How much nerves are going to creep in perhaps for Virtus.pro? Because they've looked flawless so far. They've shrugged it off, don't really care about the nerves. They've almost been cocky. But it's the grand final now. This is when it really matters. Are nerves going to be a factor, do you think?
I don't think they should be. After like how confident they seem and everything too, I think that like they're so confident, and the way that they displayed their confidence in their games yesterday, I would say that they're not going to be really nervous. They executed their Darkseer combos to perfection. There was like no mistakes at all. A lot of teams you see do this, it's like, okay, they landed 2 or 3 times in a game, and it's like, wow, that was really good. These guys landed it every single time. So I would say no.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at our matchup. We've picked out Gods, 2 astonishing players from the mid lane.
Yep.
Have they been the best 2 mid lanes? I always kind of have Samal in the back of my head because he has had an outstanding tournament, but these 2 are in the grand final.
Definitely 2 of those 2, the top 3. I mean, I don't. Smail's not here in the grand finals, but he put up he was tournament MVP worthy with some of his performances. But these 2 here, the kind of 2 key players to look at. They have a kind of similar hero pool. I think TA is one of those heroes. Fog mentioned earlier that we're going to see be kind of hotly contested. May even in one of the games be like a first 2 pick just because of how successful it's been at this tournament. And in terms of what they bring to the table, both teams are going to look to play around this player.
Ben, impressed by mid 1 in particular?
Yeah, both of them have been pretty good. I have seen no one play Magnus, and I think that's one of their best adjustments that they made from the group stage until now, is actually not put Magnus in the mid lane. They've given it to Pasha ever since, just because Magnus is just not that good of a 2 anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if they experiment with more heroes for no one. Do you see any in mind?
I mean, the one that's up there is one of, in my opinion, the sniper. They haven't really touched it at all, but I think it's one of his favorite and one of his best.
He's played a lot more heroes. He's played the Ursa in the recent matches. He's played the Venomancer most recently, whereas Anna has stuck to a more kind of set hero pool, it feels at times. Ember, Alchemist, TA, of course. So it does feel like VP are more flexible with their hero pool for the mid lane.
I'm wondering who OG really targets in this matchup, to be honest with you, because we looked at IG's approach, and they banned out, the Ursa and the Slardar in their first 2 bans. So it was like they were very targeting at the game plan that they kind of had. But VP really loves playing with this Darkseer and Magnus. So it's like, which player are they really going to go for? Are they going to go for an objective kind of banning thing too? So it's really cool that we saw the Ursa mid, like we were talking about, because that shows a lot of extra versatility coming out from VP, and it works really well versus most of Anna's heroes that he plays in mid.
We also talk about metagame, Ben. Throughout the tournament, it evolves, and it has, and we've seen it evolve, and we've also seen it evolve within the teams. But usually the grand final has almost a meta of its own, doesn't it, as it goes through?
I could actually see VP letting Naga and Enigma through and trying to out-team fight them.
Right.
Because
see what they do in the first couple of games.
Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good option for them, because then they know what's coming, and it's also really long cooldowns on both of those ultimates. And a lot of the games, as we've seen, like from the EG series, have lasted like 50+, but at the same time, VP can break high ground very early. They love taking Roche super early on, and if OG's not ready for that fast-paced game, that might be what they want OG to draft.
I think they'll even let Alchemist through, quite likely.
Yep.
I think their playstyle, the heroes they run in the mid lane, can force the Alch into the safe lane for one thing. If you pick the Ursa mid, you can pick some like lane dominators for no one, where the OG is going to think we got to put Alch safe lane, and then VP will play this fast tempo, just overrun them, take towers, and I think VP's playstyle, they should not be afraid of Alchemist in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's unusual, because we were saying earlier on in the tournament they were one of the fastest teams in terms of the amount of time taken to get through matches, whether they win or they lose. But actually, they've dropped quite a long way down now. They're actually the 7th slowest team, which seems odd.
Had a couple. You get a couple close games.
Of the knockout stages.
I think so. I think they're it's the tempo they play at. Maybe their game times still drag out. They're a very safe team compared to what they used to be. When they got a lead, they'll just go for these YOLO high ground pushes, and there was the Virtus.pro era. That was what they were jokingly called by the community. Nowadays, they're a much more slow and methodical team when they get an advantage. They don't. They focus taking objectives. They play this fast tempo where they're controlling the map, but they're not going to go dive in your base trying to rush to end a game.
I think they've also played versus a lot of these teams that like to push them into the later stages. They may be winning, but the game just ends up being prolonged because of the teams that they're playing and the way that they draft. And they had one of the longest games at the tournament versus TNC, so that kind of changes it up a little bit. Other than that, I see them having some like 20-minute, 30-minute, 29-minute,
They're all over the
30-minute.
place, aren't they?
Yeah.
Long, short. They don't really mind when they win the game as long as they win it. Got a great record as well, as they head in just 2 defeats. 2 games. That's all they've dropped in the entire tournament.
Do you guys have any clue as to what their pocket strat might be? That Lo was talking
We've
about?
seen so many different
Was
things.
the Veno a little bit like that for them? I mean,
They already
they've
showed
done
it,
twice.
though.
Yeah. Do you think they have something else?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
I mean, he said in that interview, like that one game where they had those 5 heroes, like, these are just unbeatable 5 heroes together. Maybe some slight exaggeration. Obviously, he thought it was a very strong draft. Maybe just trying to get in OG's mind, or whoever they're going to versus mind, like, ooh, he talked about those 5 heroes. Was he being serious? Was he not? Just make your opponents overthink things with the draft.
Definitely doing that. I think Shiva also asked him about the Ursa as well. Why was it so good for them? And he said, shh, no, don't say anything. And he didn't want to say anything at all about it. So that made us think, well, okay, maybe the Ursa's their main hero that they build around.
It's because their mascot's a bear. Is that a bear? Is he a bear?
Polar bear.
It's a polar bear.
Yeah.
It is a polar bear.
So
in the Virtus.pro,
it's like the incarnation of their team.
It is. The
I mean,
epitome of it.
Ursa breeds aggression, right? That hero is just nonstop aggression. I think that could be a reason. I think maybe they could be messing with people too. It's like, oh, Ursa, why not? And he's like,
bit of mind gaming.
You think it's the Ursa? No answer.
It's mind games,
Could
right?
definitely be mind games.
It's okay. Average time of OGs is actually 41.56 compared to Virtus.pro's 42.05. There is just 9 seconds on average between the. So in theory, if we go all 5 maps, we should be able to open the show for the Winter Major at the end of this show.
Yeah, probably.
There's a winter TI, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or we could just open TI.
Go
yeah.
straight into
Yeah.
TI.
just forget it on the way. Why don't we take a couple of social media questions while we're waiting for the players to drop into the draft. Who has been your MVP of this tournament so far? It's a great question. God.
Sumail. I think he's
Sumail,
just been so much, like, he is on a class of his own. I think he's out of the tournament now, but I think up until this point, he has been the best player of the tournament.
Okay, Ben?
I'm still thinking. Can
Default?
I default?
There's been I would probably have to go Sumail or no one. Honestly, I'd probably it's like tied between the two of them. I think they've both been performing incredibly high levels, and no one's been playing a bajillion different heroes as well. So I think that's also kind of why he picked Skywrath mid, Templar Assassin, Venomancer, Ursa. The guy literally has so much versatility and variety. I'd probably be about tied with the two of them.
Okay.
I'll say Ramses. I think Ramses has shown, like, he's been playing the Ursa really, really well, and I think that hero is, like, super hard to win with nowadays in this patch. And his other performances, like Sark and Chuck, have been really, really good too.
Okay, let's look forward to the draft. It is just about loading. We are almost ready to go into our first draft of the grand final, and look ahead to the picks and bans. What do we expect banned early on here?
So EG banned Auk Naga, and we expect that VP actually don't care too much about it, but they will ban the Naga first phase. I think the mag's been a big deal for Virtus.pro, but at the same time, OG seem to drive like even more team fights, so maybe they're not scared of it. At the same time, it does enable some of the melee cores from VP.
I figured they would leave the Alchemist. Like we said, they love the Ursa. Ursa is one of those kind of like super hard kind of counters to Alchemist in laning phase. Later on, it's not really the greatest, but that is very, very dominant in that aspect.
And it's one of those things like, this is now a best of 5. You should feel confident in your playstyle, your team to beat an Alchemist, and if it doesn't work, you've got game 2. Adjust things, ban the Alchemist. Yeah.
So they grab their Monkey King.
Slightly different approach for IG. The VP, Warlock Magnus.
Team fight as we kind of expected them to do. Just that's what they've been really executing at the like most perfect level.
They don't have the Tree at Phoenix combo to rely on. They don't have the Naga Enigma combo to rely on. And OG are going to be hard-pressed to find stronger team fight than Virtus.pro with this opener.
They do take the Terrorblade, not the Alchemist. I think that's pretty telltale right there.
Yeah. I personally like it better against VP. It's a hero that can actually fight a bit earlier, can take objectives more than the Alchemist. Doesn't make your lanes quite as vulnerable as the Alchemist does. And typically you expect some kind of like melee physical damage core to pair with a Magnus, and that's where TB is always good against melee cores. He's going to outrange them, kite them around with Metamorphosis, has very, very high base armor. He's very resilient to those kind of cores, so VP either don't go that direction or they're picking into something that TB wants to be playing against.
It's their 7th Magnus pick from 13 games for the Kiev Major, the most popular pick they've had.
Yeah, I think like Darkseer Mag, Pasha's shown some beastly plays on both these
They
heroes.
are 100% win rate right now with that Magnus as well.
Wow.
Yeah, 6-0.
Yeah.
They're 100% on a lot of heroes, though. To be
Yeah,
fair.
that's true. They haven't really
is
lost
their
a
most-
huge amount, but yeah.
Magnus is their most picked, though.
Yeah, it is the most picked, 7th time. They're also 100% with Warlock as well, and Darkseer.
Interesting to see the Legion ban when they already had the Magnus, and that's kind of showing respect to the fact they can run that Magnus mid. And Legion is just such a good counter to the Terrorblade illusions.
Yeah, absolutely. And with like Warlock too, it's just like Fatal Bonds with overwhelming odds, and Shockwave, there's just so much magical burst.
There's still Tinker, too. But I suppose that maybe if they were more scared of the Tinker, they could have just banned out the TA. But I think Tinker's one of the best Terrorblade counters.
Yes.
Tinker, Axe, Timber, I think, are the 3 better ones.
Do you feel like Tinker would have suited VP, though? Because it feels like it's a slower tempo than the normal heroes they pick.
I think it's a good hero for no one, a good player-hero combination.
Control Legion Commander bans.
Does that tell us more about what they don't want to play against in terms of what they're picking, or...?
They want to play against the Ursa is what the troll ban
Yeah.
says. You know, this is not to say it's a bad pick. It's like you ban troll, you're expecting an Ursa, but they could have very easily banned out the Ursa. But they're saying the Ursa is less scary for us. The Terrorblade is pretty good against the Ursa. Let's ban out Troll instead.
So right now, I think OG might face a similar problem that VCJ did, or IG, is that they have better team fight around Roche. And I think that's a very important part about Ursa. You don't want to have to be able to sneak it in. You want to be able to go in there. We have stronger team fight. I don't even care if they come, because if they do, they'll get wiped. Monkey King, with his ultimate and his flying tree vision around the pit, is not going to be enough to stop the Magnus Warlock. And you got to stop them early. The Ursa early.
Could still be something though if they build into draft into a team fight now, get a Phoenix plus something else. Like Phoenix Monkey King, maybe not the best support duo, but they
and
can.
It's Ursa too. Phoenix, Ursa can really bring down the egg really easily.
I'm trying to think of heroes that's good for team fight for them.
Disruptor.
Maybe
they played a couple of Disruptors.
Games. All right.
Usually with Naga though, they do like having that type of setup.
They've actually played 5 with Disruptor and not lost a single game.
The other hero that Fly really likes to play, which could be a good option against VP, is Dazzle, I feel. Good at securing your lanes, they good against these physical damage cores, saving a core that gets RP'd. Dazzle with Terrorblade is very strong because it guarantees you can get the Sunder off.
So they do go for the Phoenix anyway, just for that, heavy team fight.
Looks good in the semi-finals too. Fly had an incredible game.
It's risky though. Very risky versus Ursa.
Their lanes are relying on the Monkey King very heavily here.
I like the VP having that Warlock and Mag combo. It's just so good because now they don't have to, one of them can initiate and the other one can act as that counter initiator, which we saw the Phoenix actually do really well when it was just one initiator, because he would just counter initiate as a Phoenix. So they have 2 different ways, and the Ursa can kind of force that in a way. If he just jumps in, then the Phoenix is forced to egg, and then they have the ability to be able to take the fight on their own accord.
Curious to see where the mids go. We talked about how No One and Anna is the big matchup to watch. Haven't seen either of their heroes get picked, although Magnus theoretically could be swapped to the mid lane. Probably be OG who picked the mid first, since VP had that last pick, and I wonder if they're going to go for something like that TA early on here.
I don't really like TA too much for either teams though. I guess more so for OG, but I think it's really tough versus Phoenix and Terrorblade. I don't think you match up particularly well versus either, and Empowers. It's just mediocre, I would say.
You think it's okay for OG though, with Anna?
Yeah, but then you just get crushed in team fight.
Yes.
And you already know the mid matchup.
That's what's starting to happen.
Well, they're going to know the mid matchup regardless, I think, with last pick. So TA is a safer one than most. I guess you can ban to protect it then if there's a certain matchup you're worried about.
I'm trying to think what the Lil hero might be. They haven't picked any Ricky, but I feel like it could be pretty decent this game with the Empower. It gives them pretty good fight and everything too around it, and gives them vision. I don't know. Because a lot of his heroes have been taken out. Except for the Visage, which he did versus the Monkey King.
Visage is pretty good, just a Solar Crest buyer, good against a Terrorblade, good against any kind of maybe physical damage core, be an Alchemist or a TA mid-type pick that could come out. But Tusk.
Tusk Ursa, old school combo. Used to see a lot.
Does give them some vision, which is saying they were lacking with the Sigil to scout, but they could have gotten that from other heroes too, like the Ricky mentioned.
Have you seen the Tusk Empower Walrus Punch plus 150% 25 talent crit? Wow. Amazing.
That's what you're about, Ben.
That's what Ben's all about.
Yeah.
So this is cool. They pick a Bat Rider as well now, so they have kind of the initiator in a way. So now they can use the Phoenix as the counter initiator if they do get the jump. And we've seen a lot of Bat Rider into Warlock, just being able to grab the back lines, get vision of this Warlock and Magnus.
And he's great around the pit.
And great around the pit.
Although you might have to be a little bit careful with Monkey King, cutting down his trees, but it's S4's probably his best hero? Yeah, I think it's his best hero.
In fact, he was playing it when he was playing mid, and now he's an offlane. It suits him perfectly. So just the mid matchups left now.
Trying to think what else with the Tusk, because they have not. I don't think they've touched that one, right?
They have
not
Tusk
played it,
here.
right?
No, not played Tusk here.
Yeah, I'm pretty confused as to the Tusk as well.
Unusual to break out a hero they haven't played it at this hour, isn't it? They've only played it 4 times in the last 12 months. Seems odd. Oh no, sorry, my bad. That's OG.
Maybe they do want to. Maybe they look at the like Monkey King Phoenix terribly, and they're like, this lane kind of looks weak. We might even be able to do some like aggro lane in a way. And now they do see the Bat Rider. They could maybe even put like some kind of 1v1 matchup in a way.
Or Tusk owns Monkey King, actually.
Yeah, Tusk is very good versus Monkey King as well.
We saw some teams first pick it expecting the Monkey King.
Yeah, so Virtus.pro have 2 professional games on Tusk in the last 12 months. Just 2.
Oh, and I think one of those was actually a Dream League.
Played one,
maybe.
Played one a couple of months ago in the qualifiers.
In the qualifiers, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I'd seen it like within the last like 6 or 7 months.
And then 5 months ago, played against it at the Summit. And before that, it was 7 months ago, which they last played. So yeah, it's been a long time.
They ban out the Jug.
Jug's also one of the better Phoenix heroes. Maybe because they can always potentially switch the Ursa to the mid lane.
I think that's what OG are feeling, isn't it? Because that's 2 bans towards that now.
All the good egg heroes are anti-egg heroes are banned. LC, Troll, and Jug. I guess Slark's also there too if they want that. Slark's actually pretty good versus Phoenix and Bat.
It's if you worry about protecting the egg, bust out the Medusa or something.
They could definitely do that.
That would be like the OG style. Play for the late game with a TB Medusa, but another kind of late game hero, Invoker for Ana.
I mean, the TA is still there, right? Maybe they're trying to bait it. I mean, that's like what it looks like to me. They have the Bat Rider, Phoenix.
Ooh.
Yeah.
TA versus Bat's so tough to play against, especially without a good save.
Good call, Ben.
So I guess they're going to put the Ursa mid. I have seen that matchup like do pretty decently before. I think I saw one time an Ursa kill Invoker at a tournament.
I actually think it's a pretty...
it's not bad.
It can be pretty good, especially with the Tusk coming in. You can just roll him in onto the Invoker's face and you get yourself multiple kills.
Okay, game 1 predictions. Gods, we'll start with you.
I think VP. I really like what they can do with their roaming supports, and I feel like the Phoenix Monkey King is just perhaps a bit on the weaker side as far as the support duo goes. So
Okay.
VP.
All right.
I'll also go for VP. I think they have good counters to the Phoenix Egg, especially with no tree in the game, and I think they have better team fight with the Magnus.
The Curse. I'm also going with VP. I really like their draft. They have comfort heroes that they've been playing across the board. They have good lane matchups as well. I really do like what they have.
So all 3 of you are going VP.
Yep.
Okay. I'm a little confused. Are you trying to manipulate the curse? Because it doesn't work like that. I just wanted to put that out there now.
Just
If you
saying.
try
I
and
tried
mess
with the
it-
Faceless game, remember?
I love their heroes.
It
I
didn't
love their
work.
initiation and counter initiation. I love the aggression, like Ben mentioned too. The fight around the pit. I think they have a very good option versus that, especially with the scouting from the sigil. I really do like VP's draft.
Okay, all right, good stuff. All 3 have gone for Virtus.pro here on the panel. Let's find out how they get on in Game 1 as we cross over to Kiev in the National Palace of Arts for the Grand Final, Game 1.
Many times they have tried to get themselves to a Valve Grand Final. Virtus.pro always coming up short until tonight. Will they be the ones to stop OG, who have a 100% win rate in every Grand Final of a Valve event they reach? Sind, is tonight the night for VP?
I think they're the favorites, personally at least. They looked amazing in today's matches. They looked amazing yesterday. OG have had a little bit of hiccups, but they made it here again. Like you said, you can't really... It's hard to go against the track record of OG, especially I think you even mentioned that they won every single one 3-1 as well.
Pretty much every single one.
That might have been one
there
with
actually
another
hasn't been a Valve final which has not been 3-1 since we go back to TI3 when it went for the full best of 5, and that was also the only grand final which went the whole distance.
Yeah, well, OG definitely have the track record favoring them, but this is not going to be an easy final for them. I think VP looked very scary. I think they have a great draft for themselves in this game. They got their Magnus again, double melee core, great team fight lineup. Good roaming hero for Lil. They have the crowd, 6th player, maybe.
Maybe. Playing
well.
from the bench, I'm sure everyone here is a lot behind VP, especially more than OG. Like, many times it's OG who are the crowd favorites, but they'll be fighting against that, fighting against Virtus.pro. And as you said, it's the great team fight, it's the great initiation, it's the great aggression that can be tempered by Virtus.pro that comes out of their draft. And no surprise, the panel is leaning towards them as well. But OG is that Terrorblade kind of play. You have S4 on one of his critical heroes, Jirax on the OP King, Ana, who has been an absolute wonder for anyone who's got in his fantasy team playing that mid lane. He's been having a superb tournament.
Yeah, OG are on a very comfortable lineup as well. I think this game is It's pretty difficult to say who's a favorite just based on draft alone. I think both teams have different strengths. Just when it comes to raw team fights, so much comes down to who gets the jump. If S4 gets to set up for the Monkey King, they have great team fight follow-up with him and Phoenix and the Invoker. On the other hand, any decent RP, VP, I feel like are just going to roll over whoever they catch in the RP. They have so much follow-up damage. They have Golem. As I mentioned, the 2 melee cores with high burst damage, both of them, both Slark and Ursa, kill quickly. And the Tusk can be very disruptive in these fights as well. Actually, I think a pretty interesting hero to have against a hero like Terrorblade. Not the fastest hero already, and then you add in Frozen Sigil. You can, of course, also try to catch him off guard with the shards. It's not that easy for Terrorblade as a character to get out of this shard compared to many other heroes that have some sort of mobility, like the Slark they have themselves, or an Anti-Mage with Blink. That type of hero. I like the Tusk here for VP, although it's not something we've seen from them too much this tournament so far.
We'll see if the synergy can work for it. For now, this aggro trial lane that Virtus.pro has been running has kept the Monkey King's attention down the bot lane, now forcing Jirax and Lil to kind of this little bit of a roaming maneuver, and that leaves a one-on-one matchup. No one against the Invoker, the mid-Ursa with PMS. And how is this Invoker really meant to do anything against the Ursa, especially when no one's getting this aggressive, continuously pushing into him, trying to keep the swipes up?
I'm pretty sure this lane matchup is unwinnable for Invoker early on. I can't see, like you said, what he's supposed to do. He's just going to keep running at him, clapping him, and then hitting him with Fury Swipes. Probably going to need help from the Monkey King at some point here. Speaking of which, bottom lane. Jax, get some damage out.
No one's been forced to run around the tree lines. Invoker actually didn't even level up Cold Snap because he avoided the point up in Quas. He went for a 1-Wex, 1-Exort at the start here for the Invoker.
Yeah, he needs Alacrity to reliably last hit here. We'll see him using all of his mana more or less to get this Alacrity running.
Well, he's got 3 CS out of the 10-5 that the Ursa has managed to find so far. This is a very good laning phase so far for Virtus.pro. Even the Slark got a lot on the off lane. And up on the top lane, well, Pasha, it's been rough for him, but he's still keeping neck and neck with S4 CS.
Yeah, this is definitely not the greatest matchup you can have your Magnus in, but the early levels just with Magic Stick should be fine for Pasha. This mid lane, we might see it go here. Lil Shards connecting.
He gets pushed back in again. No one. He doesn't actually have the clap. TP support is forced out, so Jirax will move to the mid lane. But you can feel Virtus.pro looking for that first blood.
This mid matchup, I feel like is one that was pioneered by the old DC. Weeha used to play this mid Ursa against Invoker and this type of hero that is a bit slow in lane and take great advantage of it, and no one seems to have been inspired by that. This is an absolute trashing in the mid lane. You were praising Anna going into this thing. He's had a great tournament. He's going to need to come back in this lane. He's down 3-19 in CS 3 minutes in.
Yeah, this is not the dream for an Invoker. If he can get the hand of Midas, then maybe he can start playing catch-up. But for now, it's just avoid dying to no one. Don't escalate the problems in the mid lane, because if they do that and this Ursa gets momentum, Virtus.pro will be having a celebration drink tonight.
A celebratory.
A celebratory, yes. Thank you, Cindric.
There it is.
I rely on you.
It's my native language, not yours.
I only speak Australian. So they switched the lanes up Virtus.pro. They brought Ramses to the top. So Pasha actually moves himself down the bottom lane. He's had a really good start with the boots already and is looking to just encroach onto that energy booster. And then he can just hold back this bottom lane. 2 points up in the Shockwave. Very difficult for OG to push it out. And that's what we haven't seen really yet from Notel. He's already burnt the Metamorphosis once. And the damage to the Tier 1 tower is negligible.
S4, he wanted this top rune. This can get scary for him. Oh, they're not going to connect. The Firefly was running out, and if they catch him in charge, there is a play for the 2 supports there. But they are stacked up nicely by the Sticky Napalm. So he will get both bounty runes here. And with his bottle, very nice for him, going to be using the Shrine as well. So fairly uncommon that we see Batrider get bottle in the off lane, but S4 is rocking it this game, probably expecting that he will be able to grab this bounty a couple times and play off that advantage.
Is he actually? This is one of the most determined catapults I've ever seen. S4's going to bring it underneath the tower. Bottom lane, Pasha. Oh, Notel and Fly, you've got the Hadouken from the creep. Actually helping them out. I don't know if Fly is purposely planning that, but Pasha remains low. He's still got the escape until Jirax in through the side. Doesn't actually have the stun, but the Sunstrike, the stun will be let out. Nada hits the money lord, and that'll help him come back a little bit. Now up to level 5. And the net worth will also be boosted up. He's now second in the net worth with that kill.
Yeah, this pretty much makes the mid lane even, more or less. Experience looks even. Yeah, he's totally back in the game. Great connection there from OG. Maybe a bit cocky from Pasha to go for that last hit, and he did have Skewer. Maybe he was trying to bait Fly in and then Skewer him back, but...
Oh, S4 so low, the leash is there, Ramses. A quick rebuttal on the safe lane. S4 was playing with fire, literally.
Slark is going to get a very fast Midas this game, so... Good for Ana to come back into this game. I think it's going to be very important for OG that they land these Sunstrikes. Their kill potential in the early game is not that great in any of their lanes. Monkey King plus Batrider may have a play, but Slark is such a difficult opponent to bring down. Jerax will find Lil here. One prod from the Tusk.
He's trying to stop the aggressive ward placement of Lil, or at least see if Lil puts it down. Meanwhile, soaking up the experience in the mid lane, because there's no way Ana wants to come back here. He's trying to get as much farm out of the jungle as possible. You still want to have that 9-minute Midas, and he is on the way for that. Maybe a little bit earlier because of that kill.
And it's also very good for Monkey King to get a bit of experience. I feel like this hero has had varying success, and a lot of the time it comes down to whether you manage to get a timely level 6. The Wukong's command will be a very great ability against such a melee-heavy lineup like Virtus.pro's with 4 melee cores.
Tusk is looking to engage up on top. If he could find a good position for it, put down a rather defensive ward on the Radiant side of the river, just around the shrine. Not a common one to de-ward unless you're looking at the hill point.
S4 is being spotted here, I think. Actually, I can't talk about it. Now he is.
Yeah, that observe ward, if they cut down one of the trees, they would see a hell of a lot more.
So they will see him rotating toward mid. I'm not quite sure what No-Tail is searching for right now. Trying to get a D-ward, I suppose. Doesn't find anything.
They're still looking for the ward the Tuskar put down. Because they didn't actually see Lil retreat back out. So the only information they had to start with was watching from Jirax's perspective. And that was the Tuskar running next to the Ancients. That's why they put the sentry down, trying to get S4. Just that little bit of extra cash.
Didn't find it though. Ramses. Midas complete in 50 gold. A bit of pressure on Fly here in the bottom lane as well from Pasha. There will be a TP coming in again from Terrorblade, who went back to regen up.
His Metamorphosis is coming off cooldown, and Pasha is in a position where he can slow the attack, but thanks to the Observe Wall that's sitting behind the tower on the bottom, OG may feel inclined to again go for the exact same play they did previously. So you bring in the Monkey King from behind, you keep the harassment onto Pasha, and then just jump him for the stun into Sunstrike.
That would be a really good kill now with Metamorphosis ready as well. Should give them the tower.
Jirax, no. He's looking for it. The pounce up. There he goes. Just Sunstrike. No, he didn't get the stun timing right. Tried to actually stun Pasha mid-skewer.
That was an excellent skewer. I'm not sure where he saw Jirax, but had a feeling that it was coming. Still OG, get the bigger objective as it looks. They will be taking the tower. Pasha TPing in as early as possible, but... And glyphing.
It's still a little late. With the catapult behind him, Sprite's flying, and Jirax, he wants to go for another quick jump. It just creates space more than anything else and allows No-Tail to take the tier 1 tower. A VP, they look for their own tower. Double damage onto the Ursa, beating into the tier 1 tower in mid, and Ana coming to defend. So is Jirax. A fortification will scare off the Hungry Bear.
Ana has recovered very nicely in this game. It's very impressive when you get destroyed that hard early on. That's what a Sunstrike kill can do for you, especially when it's the first blood. Midas is already been used once. Still overall a fairly quiet early game. Only 2 kills, minute 9, but good amount of pressure still being applied. OG taking the first tower. As you said, Ursa doing whatever he can mid, doing some chip damage.
It's the rest of VP that are getting a lot of space. Ramses was taking the stacks while Solo was leeching the experience. It's pushing him up. They're trying to get the level 6s or just even items and levels on their supports. So Tuskar as well as Warlock become the priority, while Slark can just farm in the jungle at his level 8. Not to mention, he's also using his own Hand of Midas. So finding that farm. Middle lane, Lasso, out from S4. The jump is coming forward, a long pounce down, but no wonder will he have enough speed to get out of this one. The stun, it's a triple stun out from Jirax. The Sunstrike won't connect. Now in comes Ramses. He was farming the jungle. He wants to find a kill. The snowball, who's Tuskar going for? The RP! Pasha, the perfect timing. Ana, deafening blast, trying to push back Ramses. He's able to actually do it. S4 has a double kill out of it. And they're not done yet, or are they? No one. Phase boots are on cooldown, so he's not going to run over the hill.
this frozen sigil is very important to consider. We don't really talk about the ability too much when we're talking Tusk, and it's a bit subtle in the fights, but it makes a very big difference when heroes group up like that. Was a good engage from OG, but this time around I do believe the Sunstrike missed on Ursa. He was turning around to fight, and could have maybe been a slight bit better on the execution there. They don't want a Sunstrike immediately when they go in because they're expecting the Enrage to come off, so well played by Ana to hold it for them.
With both teams, so it ended up being an even trade. Like, OG got 331 gold and Virtus.pro got 322 gold. So it was so damn close and meme-filled. Virtus.pro, they found the Observer Ward. OG really wanted to have this for a fight. Jurek just... Yes, you hit the deny. Okay, no money for you.
Good way to be annoying.
OG's getting ready to fight up on top lane. Fly does have that Supernova available. No-Tail's got Metamorphosis up. Jirak still shy of his level 6, but S4. No Blink Dagger yet, but you know what he wants. Firefly up, come over the tree lines, into Lil's blind spot, and then just lasso him back. The Sunstrike, it will connect. So even though Ana is farming up in the mid lane and holding the pressure back, he still is able to get this free gold. And that's one of the big reasons why Ana gets so many points in these series, is because OG help him all the way. Especially with heroes like this Invoker. Now you take the tier 1 tower, the money starts rolling in. And VP, where's that aggression now come? You didn't go for the early Vlads on the Ursa. Does he actually get... Because he went for the Blink Dagger. Do you still think about Roshan before you go for a fight with a Blink Dagger?
Roche is a bit tricky right now. You're playing against the Monkey King and the Bat Rider. They have really good vision around that area, so it's not too easy for VP. Surprising to me, honestly, here that Lil was standing next to that tower before they even went on him. I was going to say they probably will just give up this tower because they don't have RP, and OG were already grouped up and in a very nice position. But
here comes the gank.
Yep.
Ana is going to be the one caught out. The Observer was down. They see him clearly. They even drop the rock. Hatred galore for the Invoker.
That's a mid tower as well. Totally worth dropping the rock for such a big kill. No Metamorphosis, no Invoker.
And no fortification to delay things either. Yeah. So 4-man rotation for this, plus rock. Meanwhile, OG is still trying to get everything they need to fight. The phase boots are coming up for Jirax, but more importantly, he's getting a space in the bottom lane to get the Wukong's command up. And that'll make VP a little bit more cautious about the fights. With the Blink Dagger on S4 and Wukong command, VP can get easily zoned when they don't have that RP or that Warlock Golem to drop down and do the counter control on the fight.
The Magnus Blink Dagger is coming up very soon, though, so both RP and Skewer will be nice tools for them. And as far as the game is going right now, it looks very even on the graphs, and I think if VP knew that, they would be fairly happy with that. They're starting to gonna be able to build up a lot of passive farm now that Empower is reaching high levels. It's currently level 3. Benefits Mag, Slark, and Ursa tremendously throughout the entire game. And OG will probably keep up the farming pace mainly by virtue of using this conjure image of the Terrorblade. Of course, a lot of the time with Terrorblade, you get a lot of gold without getting too much experience if your illusions are the only ones pushing out.
S4's on the hunt. He just pinged down saying, I'm fairly certain there is an Observer here. They don't have any, they don't have any detection. Both the supports with no sentry wards, so they can't get rid of the Obs ward, which is why VP understand that this is not a fight they want to take. So they let the tier 1 tower fall. That's the last remaining tier 1 tower of Virtus.pro.
And they smoke up. This is the Magnus Blink reveal. Golem is on cooldown, however. But I feel like we have to mention the discrepancy in experience between the cores right now. Slark is level 12 to the level just 9 of Terrorblade. This is the Midas coming into play. It's the nature of the heroes coming into play. So the gold graph is looking okay, but this experience will keep flowing the way of VP, and all of these passive stats they're getting from leveling up their heroes will play a big role. Keep in mind, OG's lineup is not the greatest at all against Slark in general. So Ramses can have one of these games that he takes over later on. And
a way they can itemize to just add. Keeps right on top of him, thanks to the haste rune. a very, very fast bat.
Monkey King is so nice against Slark because you can't precast the Dark Pact. You don't get to react because the stun comes out of the trees. And a big pick here for OG. For now, this is going to work, so very nice kill for them, buying more time. It's going to be difficult for OG to end this game early before Slark gets strong. I think they're going to have to address him at some point. That kill definitely helps slowing him down. Later will be a very strong hero.
This Observer Ward sees a lot. Lil and Pasha are running around. If Pasha, he's going to cast the Empower from outside the pit into the pit. Nah, here comes the Forest Spirit. They really want to see Illusion as well. As far as the Firefly up, they see no one low. But remember, there is no lasso. So without that, you're not really going to have much to work with. So they just have to play the distance. Keep in mind, too, Jirak's position. No Wukong command for him either. Another reason why VP probably feel very confident coming in here. They've got their big ultis up.
The Fury Swipe stacks expired on Roshan, so no one lost interest in trying for this. He is never going to find a double damage, and he has a bottle, so they have plenty of time to save this up for a good moment, either to Roche or find a team fight. And the line is being drawn here by Fly that he thinks, I'm actually not sure what to make of this line.
Is that a push the mid lane?
Push the mid lane, it might be, but no one's doing it, so. Or this is where the mid lane is.
Sounds like a nursery rhyme.
Didn't really see the movement out of them that line would represent, but now he's going to do it himself. Maybe that was the whole point. I will take care of mid. I got this area. Go farm elsewhere.
VP smoked.
Yeah.
Oh, Warlock.
Monkey King.
One of these trees is stacked on the other. One of these trees just doesn't fit in. And Ursa, he triggered his double damager, and he really wanted to go in for Roshan. The Terrorblade Illusion's just coming to the front lines. S4 still with that Firefly triggered.
They saw
really
Jerax.
They saw Jerax. And they pull him back in. The lasso is out. Fly goes into the Nova. Will the egg pop? Ramses tries to slow him down. The stun from Jerax will do the work. She get a 5-minute stun. No! They kill him off just in time. Wukong command controlling on the back when Jerax gets mopped up by Ramses. No more command. No tail. He's got Sunder available. The Ice Wall from Ana is controlling no one, but here goes your RP. It catches out the Terrorblade. He will fall. No one, not a healthy man. S4 still causing real problems at last attack, allowing Magnus. Pasha gets back to base in the back of his TP, and Ramses will retreat. So a 3-for-3 trade-off. Both these teams going hammer and tongs and coming out even.
Great engage from both of them. They ping out the Monkey King. They saw him jumping onto the tree. Lil pings him. They blink skewer him with Mag. So they stun him by breaking the tree first and then skewer him down, kill him. He did get Wukong's command out, but got killed off pretty quickly after. But because OG got the counter engage at the same time with the Bat Rider, it ended up being an even fight. If OG aren't quick to pounce there, they would have probably just lost the Roche on Monkey King being dead and VP having some decent vision. So very close once again.
Let's have a quick look at that movement. So there it is, the blink, the skewer, the stun. But Warlock couldn't get his ulti off either. S4 has been right on the money.
The Supernova was so close, and that would have been a big win for OG this fight.
Really thought that stun was going to last a little bit longer from Jirax, but it wasn't long enough. But
so much patience from Pasha here.
Yep.
Great play all around from everyone. That was a very good fight. No one won. Not the player. Nobody won.
That's my line.
Well, in a way, maybe slight victory for VP. As far as economy, it didn't really change the gold graph too much, but No Tail died and Slark survived. And Slark, I believe, got one of the kills, did he? He got 2 of the kills, actually. He killed both Fly and Jerax, so good money flowing in for him.
But you're still also having the main initiator of OG not being controlled. Like S4 is 4-1-3 on this Bat Rider, Blink Dagger, 4-staff up, and he's kind of the man which is controlling such a heavy amount of this fight. What happens when he's able to pick up a Shiva's Guard? What happens when he's able to control a VP and it becomes the saving of Lil where we turn our attention to, as opposed to the aggressive roll forward which we got from Lil in the last fight?
Yeah, they will probably have to consider Lincoln's later on. I don't think it's necessary just yet. Of course, Ursa is a very special case. He has a built-in way of dealing with the Bat Rider lasso in his Aghanim's that he is working on right now. Great choice in this game. It's good against the entirety of OG's lineup, really.
But Ramses will need the Lincoln Sphere still.
More than likely,
if he can't get the timing, it's like that insurance thing.
The alternative for him is going BKB, and then you can probably survive if you click it fast. I don't think OG have enough burst through BKB, not yet anyway, to kill him off.
Yeah.
Terrorblade will deal substantial amounts of damage later, but as you mentioned, there's always the trump card in Tusk that could turn things around. Jerax is up to some mischief bottom. He actually gets spotted here again by Lil, is pinged out, so they know where the Monkey King is, and this could prompt them to go for a play. Blink Dagger RP is available once again on Magnus. But VP don't have to make plays.
They're all grouped up in the mid.
Farm.
VP want to actually still look towards Roshan. Like, we can't forget that was the other big advantage OG had from around the fight. It's the fact that Virtus.pro with an Ursa, we're 20 minutes in and they still haven't claimed their first Roshan. The builder that was coming in from Ursa anyway kind of understood this. Hence he's gone Blink, Basher, and now onto Aghanim Scepter. It's not Flash, it's not the Aura play we've seen before. RP up on top, catching out Ana. No one will jump in, but Ana invis. Who brought the detection? The sentry was too far away. Ana makes a break for the tree lines. Now the dust will go. Rolling boulder forward. Ana creates a little bit of space with Tornado, but nowhere near enough. 50 seconds on the sideline, but you commit your RP, you commit all 5 heroes to go for that fight. But without the Invoker, Roshan becomes a very heavy topic.
That was such an awkward kill. He got RP'd, just stood invis in the whole RP, started walking around, and then finally the dust actually barely clipped him there. I think Solo wasn't too far away from missing that. They got the kill. Nice understanding from VP that they could connect. Good communication there.
Note that VP didn't go straight in for Roshan. Jerax was expecting it. That's the reason why he moved so early. He could camouflage himself because one of these trees, again, doesn't fit in.
It's not easy for VP to go for Roche, even though they kill Invoker. There's still the threat of getting jumped by Batrider. If they just pick off anyone, the fight is kind of, or the Roche attempt is over, and they could just lose key heroes down there. No RP, out of mana on Ursa. They decide it's too difficult, and I'm with them on that. Actually, No-Tail showing the real hero top. He's going to get jumped by Ramses right now.
Yeah, he wants to go on him. No-Tail, the damage should be enough. He's got Sunder available. Let's it go, but the rock. Okay, again, Solo. Very, very happy to use that rock at a moment's notice.
He was very out of position. That was unusual for No-Tail to be in this kind of position. Generally just put the illusions to push there and go in the jungle with your hero, but maybe he's starting to feel like he's feeling the pressure. There isn't that many safe areas on the map right now. Nice lasso.
Right out, lasso pulling back in. The Sunstrike can hit the timing, and with the Wukong's command, there's no help coming to Solo. They can get rid of that Observer Ward as well thanks to the sentry that's on the deck. Actually, no, the sentry is just out of range, so the Observer Ward was placed. Flame Break doesn't push them out of the pit. Aegis Immortal into the hands of no one. With the secondary sentry now down by Fly, they do get rid of the Obs. But Roshan, it goes to Virtus.pro. Took 22 minutes to do it.
If OG commit that much to killing the Warlock who doesn't have Golem, they can't contest anymore. I think the Wukong's command was kind of wasted. Just the lasso into Sunstrike should be more than enough. Maybe they were expecting that VP would try to help their Warlock, but wisely just stay in the pit, claim the big objective, and Solo is more than happy to die for the cause there.
That's just
VP
what Solo
built more
always
advantage. Does. This game is looking good for them right now. Still a close one, though. But you would imagine going a bit later in with this Aghanim's coming up for Ursa momentarily, and BKBs will be coming out later, and Linken's. OG's teamfight execution gets harder and harder, whereas VP, they have this exceptional AoE BKB piercing ability and massive AoE damage, actually 2 BKB piercing ultimates, whereas they only really have the Batrider ulti on OG, and that's single target.
Yep.
Well, explosion of Supernova, but not reliable, let's put it that way.
Unless Fly can get the perfect position on a hill like that, that's not going to be your dream. And VP smoking up, they're trying to make the most out of all these ultimates we've just been listing. Look for the opening. It's the Invoker.
He blinked the NATO! Beautiful by no one. Wow, that was perfect out of him.
Spectacular Dodo, and now Virtus.pro with no Invoker again on the field. Ana, 4-4. It was the Invoker who got pressured early on, played a great catch-up game, and now is becoming the primary target for Virtus.pro. But they're not forcing the issue too heavily. It's back to the lanes. It's back to pushing them back out. They understand if they start losing Tier 2, Tier 3 towers and one fight just goes slightly awry, and with no buybacks, that Terrorblade can do a lot of damage very quickly.
Absolutely.
Not to mention, this is the OG specialty. You get the illusions out, you keep the side lanes pressured. You keep Virtus.pro always wondering if they're going to get the better trade-off. And when those big AoE ultis are blowing, going up high ground when you're considering that you have to trade Tier 2 for Tier 3 or something along these lines, it still makes you think twice.
Ramses is so far ahead, though.
Yeah, he's
It's
14K.
He is 3 levels ahead of the highest level in OG. Okay, and it's going to be too soon here with Ana getting 17. But
He just got his BKB as well.
Yep.
Like, it's coming on the courier.
that's the item. It's going to be an issue. He could still go for the Linkens in combination with it. And then suddenly OG are extremely limited in how they can control this Slark. We were talking about how it was going to be a problem. I don't think they've managed to shut him down nearly enough in order to prevent him from getting this game. But then again, how would they? It's just a beautiful pick from VP in this game. It was their 5th pick, right?
It was.
Yeah. Very nice decision here.
No one jumps in, goes in S4, quick 4-staff. Ana looking for a tornado hit. He's not going to find anything. No one sees it coming from a mile away.
Remember, no one can break Tornado as well with Axe if he wants to. I believe that should work.
S4, he's looking at Lil. He can't look at no one. He knows he can't look at no one. But the 4-staff's still on cooldown for another 2 seconds. So we're sticking Napalm. Bloody Sigil. Ramses, he'll go in. The Sunray's out. Will it be enough life to regenerate up S4? No, won't.
nice
Ana, he's trapped in the shards, locked in the icy cone of death, with Solo dropping the rock. Virtus.pro, they bring down 2. Ana again with no buyback. Will fall. Agency Mortal is also up for the Ursa. He's got this in another 2 minutes.
Wow, that was excellent.
They're going to come in. They're coming into the OG home.
Yeah, RP is still online, and they have the Aegis. This was actually not that big of a commitment from them.
Yep.
All they used was Slark's BKB.
And the rock.
And the rocks, that is true.
No one was looking for an opening, but OG, they're back in so far. They're just trying to use the Fire Spirits to slow down the attack with the burn of the Sunray. They'll pull the creep wave down to the tier 4 towers. But again, you still don't have the Invoker. The jump in from Jirax, a 3-man stun, not committing the Wukong's command. They just try and put the Reflect onto Pasha. Now S4 is up.
Metamorphosis was used as well here. If OG gets
The
nothing.
jump with Al Lasso, they found Solo. Again, it seems to be the consolation prize, the box of chocolates for coming and appearing in game 1. Virtus.pro still get what they want. The tier 3 tower, which now opens up the shrines outside.
By the way, we didn't get to touch so much on this. The skill build of Solo in this game is very unusual. I think he was on level 5, he had 0-2-3, I want to say. I seem to remember that. So didn't go for the bonds early on, but prioritized upheaval. And I think it's his way of trying to deal with this Terrorblade's movements in the fight. It's the hero, if it can't just take these steps forward, it becomes very difficult for these illusions to deal damage. It's a trade-off, though, right? You can also say, why don't you just max Fatal Bonds and kill them all? But it's worth highlighting that this is something different and some, I want to say, creative thinking, because this is an old build that almost never gets used anymore by Warlock. But Solo is making the decision in this game that it was more interesting. Now he's about to max out all 3 skills.
Oh, Slark so close. They don't have detection.
He knows
Ana
it, though. He knows it.
Detection is coming as the dust on Tusk. He'll actually connect on the Monkey King of all. Warlock will trick his as well, but Ana quickly ghosting away on the top lane. They want to fight this, however. Both dusts are down. Monkey King puts the Observer Ward down as well, so they get good vision behind and in front. These 2 obs see so much of Virtus.pro, but still OG do not feel confident enough to take this, so they BT Invoker down to the bottom lane, and they start the split push.
Yeah, VP might as well wait as well. They have another BKB coming out. This is the full BKB for the Ursa of no one, so racking up the advantages. For OG to win a fight now, they need some absolutely spectacular combination of spells and some kiting as well, more than likely. When those BKBs are up, I think the fight's just a no-go. No-Tail is not strong enough yet to get through these 2 cores. Half because of his farm, half because of his levels. He's level 14. Slark's level 21.
So low on levels. Even Ana, like Ana's at 18. He's trying to play that game to get up. And he's the closest one to the Slark. And you can see also Ana trying to make up for what isn't there from the other heroes. So S4 is building into a Yule Scepter. He's trying to have something else that can potentially trigger a later Linken's or be more control in the fight, which means the maneuverability is now being picked up by Ana. He needs to get the Shiva's Guard to survive,
Ramses
as well as provide the slow.
Eyeing him here. This is bad. There's a sentry next to him as well.
Ana, he doesn't know. And now, well, can he actually have no space? The Tornado's going to miss. And Ana invis, the dust, as well as sentry. Ana, movement speed. He doesn't have enough to get away, even with a deafening blast. This time he will have buyback. But while this was going on up on top lane, No-Tail is approaching the tier 3 tower. But will VP care? They still have their big ultis up, Rock and RP.
They need to be a bit cautious. They don't have a TP on Warlock, so he can't be the one going back to defend. Instead, they will, so far, not send anyone back. Who has TP? Slark, doesn't use it. Cooldown on Tusk, cooldown on Mag, but at the same time, OG are cautious. They don't see heroes. Now they will see them on the Observer Ward. More than likely, S4 will just TP out of this, or maybe he'll hang around.
So close.
Oh, he got spotted by no one.
Oh, get out of there, S4. The punch will be right in position, and no one will find the kill on S4.
How did he find him? Do you have a replay of that? Like, what?
Echolocation?
They didn't scan, right? They didn't scan. They don't have vision, at least as far as I can tell. Maybe there was a ward that expired. No one with.
There was no. It was the Radiant Observer Ward that was up there that got taken down.
That was an
I didn't see a dire
absurd
ward.
read if he just found him there. He might have just guessed based on knowing how No-Tail plays, or sorry, S4 plays this Bat Rider, but that was really impressive. Maybe I missed something there. I don't know. That seemed unreal. So Jerax is closing in on Basher. I like to say this is one of the most broken items in the game on any hero. Basher on Monkey King is absurd, but he did go for Crest first, really respecting the physical damage output of VP and taking more of a defensive route, more likely buying it more for the defensive purposes than the offensive ones. And, well, he's keeping this farm going. Jerax has had a pretty good game.
Fly is also going to get a little bit of extra farm and levels. He's picked up a hand at Midas, but Virtus.pro, they understand the position they were in this. They continue to bring down the outer towers.
Roche is up.
OG do not want to fight this, and yeah, by taking out the tier 1 and tier 2 tower on top, and you know they'll turn their attention to the shrine, Roshan can be the next simple target. Ramses wants to give them a ticket to go in, and that ticket is kind of punched if he could find someone from OG out of position. Almost like the Bat Rider. S4 was 4-staffing and blinking, looking for the kill on Pasha.
He still needs to be careful here. One misstep and it could go really wrong. Oh, something good happened for VP.
I think they scouted the smoke.
Yeah.
That's the Observe Ward that's sitting inside the base, and the OG came out. They're scouting out. Okay, it's just a Sunstrike to try and chip down the Ursa. Mr. BKB Pasha.
Ana with a tornado.
Oh, nice with the EMP burn. That will actually burn. No one's out of range, and so was Ramses.
Gonna take the shrine here more than likely.
Those big 2 control abilities. And I'll have to wait a little bit longer. S4 still hunting for a kill as well. 5 flying up, can't find anything. So there goes your shrine. And they could just slip themselves into Roshan now. 5 flies off cooldown, 20 seconds time. That's a long time for OG not to have the vision. But VP aren't going directly in for Roshan. They're waiting it up a little bit. And you know OG's looking for it. So we'll have a quick look at what happened up on top.
Okay.
He just saw him from the other side?
Did he catch a glimpse of him? I actually didn't even see it in the replay.
We looked over too late.
Yeah. Saw it a bit too late, but regardless, great catch there from no one. Whether it was quick reactions or just a good guess, it's a great play no matter what.
So if you're OG now, is it just a vision advantage around Roshan that you try and play and counter Roshan from VP?
I don't think you can give them this Roshan. You can't give VP this one. Generally, Fly is very good at leading his team, or whoever is doing the primary in-game shot calling for OG puts a lot of emphasis on not giving Roshan away when they have a good vision lineup. Last Roshan, they had to concede. I think it was the right choice at the time, but if they just let VP take this Roche for free, they kind of just open their mid-barracks up.
Well, VP is currently waiting. They're not getting aggressive just yet because they just got a fresh item on the Slark. A full Skadi is now done for him, and with the Shadow Blade Pasha, we'll try and slip a little bit further forward. Sunstrike damage getting split between Lil as well as No One. They see a target as Ramses. He'll pounce himself away. He's just trying to poke the beast. S4 gets the blink last over. No one breaks free. The Tornado with the Wukong's command. There's a huge amount of combinations. Lil will fall quickly. Ursa has to peek. Into the LP! Pasha! A whole enchilada that's done from Fly. No create space with a Firefly. It's actually nowhere enough. And a Deafening Blast tries to create more space. Fly. That's Icarus dive out. Anna's on the run. But you know who's coming. It's the Slark under the Orbs and Sentry. Triple kill for No One, but they want everything. They want Ada. Difficult to catch him, though, when you've got cold feet from the ice wall.
It's a 4-man RP from Pasha. Great patience from him. Actually really like this engage from S4, as weird as it may sound. He jumped on the Ursa, and the reasoning here is OG want to force the fight to break out, and sure, the Ursa can break out of it with the Enrage, but then it's used at least. And they did get a pretty good setup for their fight. The Phoenix came in nicely. They got a good Wukong's command out. If it wasn't for this incredible RP from VP, this could have been a great fight for OG. And very rarely would you say it's a good play to just use Lasso on the Ursa like that, but I actually liked it. Didn't work though, and that is going to be a Roshan again for Virtus.pro. This time they put it on the Slark instead of yours. I'm guessing it's the Aghanim's difference this time that makes them make this decision.
They believe the Ursula is going to be the immortal one with the Aghanim Scepter. And
that's
let's Ramses be a little bit more aggressive.
So have a
we
look
can
at this. He lassos. I don't know if it was a misclick. It might have been. Great Golem here. 4 heroes done. Great bonds. And now here we go. Pasha has already stepped to the side and gets in a massive RP here.
You couldn't have asked for anything better. Fly actually ended up stunning one person with his Nova, and that was Solo. He did so much work to try and keep Ana alive, sacrificing himself. So maybe that's the only upside. Is the fact,
oh god, I only hit 4. Oh. No-Tail's like, damn, he hit 4. Well, there's 2 ways of looking at it. Pasha might be a bit disappointed because it was possible he could have survived that fight, but you know, you did well, Pasha. I think that's good enough for your team for now.
You can take what you can get when you're about 13,000 net worth in front and encroaching on 20k experience advantage for Virtus.pro. Like, you're very happy with your situation, and you're coming straight back into the fight. Golems are cooldown in 28 seconds time. RP's already back up again, and Pasha, he's looking for Ana. Where are these obs and sentries? Where is this detection? Because Ramses will slip in under the cover of his Silver Edge, looking for the opportunity. Now, they do not see him, OG. There's no sentry ward in the front line. S4 comes in. Now the sentry's there. Tornado picks up the Slark. The Dark Pact will actually put him back down pretty quickly. Gets him away from the EMP. Not to mention the reflection.
It's going to heal up instantly, though. He's ready to go again. VP.
They're worried about bottom lane. This is that trade-off, like what I was talking about. Like, OG will always make you think, am I actually not getting the best out of this? So they have to send no one to the bottom lane to defend. Buy space and time for OG, and they need that because Virtus.pro are very much in the driving seat.
This will be a very quick push out from no one, and then he's going to reconnect with his team. Just pushing 2 waves and heading back.
He just ghost feeded on the Magna, so he knew it. Pasha blinks forward, gets the RP off with a rolling bottle forward that actually punch kick him away. Will it be enough with Invoker? He does go down, 81 seconds on the sideline. He committed both the RP as well as the Golem, however.
Wait, what happened?
It looked like a Force Staff combining with the Walrus Punch.
I thought Tusk had Axe there. I was like, what happened?
I thought the same thing. The synergy was right on the money for the Aghanim Center, but he does not have it.
That looked pretty funny. It must have been a Force Staff at the exact same moment.
It was.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I think it was S4 was in the neighborhood. Yeah, he was the one that was pushing him.
Trying to save him
Monkey
there.
King run. They know. They know. No. The skewer. He'll get the stun 4 seconds. He was trying to hide as a tree.
Level 25 for Ramses.
That's so big. Solo's having troubles here in the mid lane, however. The burn is there, so Solo will fall. 2 supports down from either side, both without buybacks available. But you know Slark wants to come in. Sentry Wars, they're all over the place. And he actually used the Abyssal Blade on a fake No-Tail. No one, maybe not the greatest thing to initiate on. Slark still trying to run away. They shard to block the ramp area, but a quick range racks for Virtus.pro.
He abyssaled a Conjure Image. That was not a Manta-style illusion, so just a bad read for him. But fortunately for him, he made No-Tail use Metamorphosis, so I guess it was a good play. That worked out very well for no one here. They're going to Shrine up. They know meta is on cooldown, and I think this is good enough for VP to consider high ground. They will take bottom tier 2 first. Ramses is alone here. Obviously, No-Tail and the rest of OG have no idea about this, just trying to scout out with the illusions.
Okay, that's an easy tier 2.
Yeah.
What else are they trying to build towards? The Slark is going towards a Butterfly at the moment. Waiting to see Fly's item of choice. He's got 2,400 gold on this Phoenix. Maybe just buyback is still worth saving for. Ana is desperately trying to scrap together the cash to pick up his Octarine. And S4 hasn't bought a new item in probably the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, when did he get the Yules?
I'm fairly certain it was around like 25.
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right, here they come, Virtus.pro. Observer Ward's there. Look at Batrider. Quick jump away. He's like, I know they can see me. I know they can see me. And a quick Abyssal Blade means he's gone, so send the illusions in.
This is still not clear-cut for VP. It's not that easy.
They need to basically explode someone with that Abyssal Blade at the very, very beginning. But doing that when you've got, like, you're jumping into the OG base, potentially then being dragged towards the tier 4 towers, this is the fight that VP don't want to take. They don't want to have to rely on the huge RP of Pasha to get them out of jail, like what could have happened in that mid-fight.
Yeah, their Aegis is also expiring, so they didn't get as much value out of this as they had maybe hoped, but it's good enough. They can keep farming. VP, if they have a good read on this game, should know that they are gaining massively. They can just take a look at the levels that they have access to, and they should be figuring out, okay, we're probably doing good. Maybe a bit misleading with the Midas and the XP talent on Tusk, but still.
S4's hunting. Jirax gets the stun out. They need to see Pasha the RP. It whiffs. He doesn't find the target. Tornado will fly through. The rock will drop. This will keep the rest of OG out. But Jirax into the Wukong's command, looking to fight harder. Rams in the cover of the BKB. They focus on the Monkey King, removing the command from the field. The Nova, it should be able to connect, but not in time to save Anna, or not in time to save Fly. Yes, it will. 4-man stun. The lasso is there. Will it be enough? No tell. The damage is a Terrorblade. He's getting enough of it out, actually. The support is there. He'll sunder up no one, but he's lost his Metamorphosis. The damage, it doesn't, or does it? It does exist when Pasha skewers forward. The bash is there from no one, however, catching S4 down. As no one blinks and runs, Solo is left behind, no tail. He does have that Metamorphosis and chasing after Solo. Needs a little bit more damage, one more hit will do it, and this will be a 4-for-3 trade-off, technically in favor of OG.
The moment that RP missed, you could tell OG were all in on this fight. That's the best thing they can hope for. In addition, VP were kind of thinking about destroying the Supernova, I think, and then they're like, okay, we can kill the Invoker instead. And maybe in this situation, it would have been better to just destroy the egg to make sure this AoE stun doesn't come out. It's kind of those damn it if you do, damn it if you don't moments where if you get the egg, you know Invoker has a lot of spells left and can turn around and do a lot on you, but at the same time, Fly did so much that fight by getting out of the Supernova. So
he bought time for the Terrorblade.
Absolutely.
And
big fight for OG.
It actually meant so much in the experience. You wouldn't have thought it was that close, but...
We're going to see it here. Complete whiff on RP. Almost got both, but ended up getting none.
And they even knew exactly where Jirax was. Jumps in, gets the perfect command off, and Anna goes in pretty deep on this.
So have a look at this. Ramsey's perfect choice. You need to kill the Monkey King first. Now I think he hit the egg once, and then was like, oh, there's an Invoker, and now 1 health on the egg. Just got it off. If that Supernova breaks, the game's probably actually over. Like, they would have cleaned up this fight 5-0.
Yep. Because
while missing an RP.
Fly actually brought so much regeneration back to the field. Like, it wasn't even just the fact that No-Tail was able to get the Sunder off. He did a lot of damage, plus having the regen, plus the fresh sprites. A lot of things to control. And it actually gave him a 3k gold swing in favor of OG and a roughly 6k experience swing.
And a great fight for No-Tail, who got a lot of money out of that.
He's now level 22.
Got a full Scotty.
Full Scotty, has the Crystallis, looking in towards a Bloodthorn. They may have just fed the beast that is OG.
It's going to take more than this, though.
Definitely.
Remember that this was a completely whiffed RP. Even a 2-hero RP from Pasha right now is a very big deal. Now, big pickup here for Fly. He's going to get the Lincoln Sphere to try to counter out, I would imagine, mainly the Abyssal of the Ursa.
I'm wondering if he actually gives that over to Anna, because Anna's been more of that frontliner saying, VP, please kill me, so then No-Tail gets more space to work as the Terrorblade.
It's definitely important that Anna stays alive. You can't just sacrifice him at the start of the fight and expect to win it.
They're 5-man smoking up. Ramses is the man revealing himself in mid. The scan is out from the Radiant side. They find no one, but the jump up from Jirax. He's on the hill. The Sunstriker should be able to connect, but no one protected by the BKB. The RP, it only connected over on Anna, who got pushed into the trees into relative safety. Nova is down. The stun is actually holding no one in position. This Nova, it should be able to connect. It actually will do so. The Sly can't run away from this. Virtus.pro, they've lost 3. A terrible fight for them. After the back of that bottom engagement, they're looking for Solo. He's still on the run. S4's behind him. He has the Gem of True Sight. Now the Vision, the Sunstrike. Solo stops to heal. Actually saves it from the Sunstrike, but over into the tree line. S4, no Firefly available. So Solo needs some heavy jukes. Probably not going to be possible when he's sticky napalmed up. Movement is not the greatest friend when you're all gunked up.
And another lackluster RP. He got the Invoker, but the Invoker only, and the Invoker got instant Force Staff. And VP couldn't stay on the target, so...
He just bought back with no RP, so will the Ursa and No-Tail. Okay, OG, they're happy with this.
I don't think so. I think they're going to keep going. They're 5-3. There's no RP.
And there's no rock.
Oh, it's worth thinking about at
S4's
least.
got Lasso in 2 seconds time, so they have the initiation. And with Dark Pack being used by Slark, Tornado, it catches him. S4 doesn't want to go that deep, however.
VP need to make sure they have this Empower running constantly.
They're picking Roshan, but he's not up. OGO moving back towards Roshan, but he's still got almost another minute, just under a minute, before he'll respawn.
OG took the full map control here, though. They have clearly better vision than VP because they kind of just team wiped them and forced them back into base.
Look at the swing at the graph. Like, we were always talking like the gold was a good one, but the experience graph was the critical thing we're pointing out. That has come a long way north for OG.
They have done a really good job at not positioning themselves for a good RP since that really big beat down next to the Roche pit last time.
Ramses finally has the counter to the Terrorblade, or at least part of it. He's picked up the Monkey King bar, so doesn't have to worry so much about that butterfly
No
on
buyback,
Notel.
though. This is an all-in. He didn't use his, so if he gets caught now, it's dangerous.
And no one from VP has buyback. Everyone is out of money. Nice tornado. EMP just a little bit more delayed with a cold wall. No one, down to 1/3 of his mana.
He doesn't have buyback.
Oh, wait for it. S4, you can see him. He doesn't find his opening. The Sunstrike connects on Ramses. No one goes in. He sees an opportunity on Ana, but Ana gets pushed away. 4-star ever ready from S4. And they're coming over for Roshan now. The big man is up. They waited out the time. And there is nothing Virtus.pro can do about this. They're still defending their home. They'll get there too late.
They won't even try. They know that they have way too bad map control right now. And they can fight into an Aegis. It will, however, also be a cheese. But on VP's high ground, it's a lot easier to find an RP. And they even are able to engage without using RP. The Blink Skewer is also a threat. But OG, knowing OG, they're probably going to send some Terrorblade Illusions to hit these buildings and try to set up for Batrider to get a catch.
And that's going to be making it very difficult for VP to get into the fight. The fact that Monkey King did actually complete up his Abyssal Blade, he's picked up a Ghost Scepter as well, so surviving inside of his Wukong command while dishing out all these mass bashes. The team fight has become a hell of a lot better for OG now, but you still do not count out Virtus.pro. They are a long way ahead. Yes, maybe for the first time in maybe 30 minutes, OG is possibly going to have the advantage in net worth as well as gold, but Virtus.pro have RP and power targets up that will just cleave through OG if they get caught. So it's OG that have to have the perfect positioning, and Virtus.pro that just have to wait for OG to come to them.
OG will be out farming them now, though, with this full map control. You mentioned the Monkey King Basher. He kind of has to be the target for VP in their next fight. You can't let this Wukong's command run into all of their melee cores. So it is tricky. And he can keep farming as well. As you said, VP can wait for OG to come to them. What if they don't want him? They can get 6-slotted. It's difficult for VP right now to get map control back. They can use this Aegis to farm OG if they want. If they don't feel comfortable going in high ground, it is a play for them.
I'm loving how OG, even though they're doing the farming, like you see that these, like it's a low cooldown, the Tornado, that was its level 25 upgrade, just keeps throwing it out, looking for EMP burns or Sunstrike, just let them know they're there, and that EMP burns on a good job. Lil's actually completely out of mana with the lasso, picked up by S4, they'll easily kill off the Tusker. In fact, they know it so well that Ana is already looking for another kill. He won't find it, however, but Notel's ready to push. That's no Tusker for 65 more seconds.
Of the Illusion Army of Notel starting to go in and deal some damage here. Fatal Bonds will make quick work of it, though. But still, this multi-lane push now coming from OG. They have the Forge Spirits bottom.
Ramses pumps Abyssal Blade. They're trying to clean up Ana again. S4 with a Flame Break. Tornado will fly up. A quick Yule Scepter. They need to get him out of here. The Aegis Immortal is still up, at the RP connects beautifully from Pasha. Pull him back in. No one. It's time to nom 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 on OG. Will the damage be enough? Not with Notel. Summons the life back in again. Aegis Immortal will trigger. Pasha, he's ticking out at the moment. He will die. Another control. It's just too much control. No one. Spun up into the air once more. Comes down into the Sunstrike, and that will put him on the noggin. Solo, he's dragged out. Everyone's gone. GG. OG take game 1 in this grand final of Kiev.
Oh, what a Wukong's command to end it on, just to prove a point. Oh man, that spell is it's like soul crushing to just watch. You've had these moments yourself in your pub games, I'm sure. You're playing against this Monkey King as a melee core. You're in the fight, you're like, yeah, I got this big target. You just keep getting bashed. They actually couldn't move in that fight, more or less. 2 of their heroes were completely done. And hats off to OG for being able to pull this game back. That looked really, really bad for them. They keep playing to the one advantage that they have, which is if they split up nicely and VP either whiff the RP or hit a pretty bad one, they have really good counter-engage themselves. It was something we talked about when the game was starting, that both teams had this nice counterplay, especially OG with the Batrider into the Phoenix coming in and the Wukong's command. Everything came together for them. This is worrying for VP. Because if they lose this game, how does it affect their morale going into game 2?
And especially when, like, this is a situation they've never been in before. They've never been in a final of a Valve event. And they don't want to just fall over now. They had some issues at the previous events, not really topping above 6 at all the Valve events. And now they've worked their way up. They've done it with confidence. They've got to this point. They're going to knuckle down and do it well. But I still, before we go to our quick break, I want to say big props to S4. His early game, his positioning was right on the money. He was in the perfect place at the perfect time. Big props to that. I can't wait to see more Dota, and I can't wait to see VP bounce back and give us a fantastic game 2.
Thanks very much, Toby. Yeah, I don't know, are we the break? Is that what's happening here? Yes, welcome back to the panel. We will break down game number 1, OG incredibly bringing it back. And what a back and forth game, gods. Like, what have we got in store here?
Back and forth, but that was it. It ended once it went back OG's
Sure,
way.
but it looked like Virtus.pro's game.
Yeah, it did. VP did everything right with their draft, the early game. They controlled Roshan. They took the early towers, objectives, 20k gold lead or something, and then OG just say, no, we're great at defending our high ground. We're out there, teamfight execution, their ability to punish mistakes. One missed RP costs VP so much.
Ben?
Yeah, I think Basha was doing very well for the RPs, but the only time that they lost the fight when they were ahead was that big RP that was whiffed on bottom, and there were like a lot of small things too. The egg into the flame break, I think it was like 1 hit, and Phoenix has received like all these tiny buffs to his talents and to his egg hit count, and it made all the difference here.
They were using everything to protect it, like the Boundless Strike, the flame break you mentioned. They were so good about trying to play around it.
Tornado, blast, you don't actually need Treant, it seems like, to protect the egg.
It actually is ridiculous how much they do really have, right? The Fire Spirit Slow, Disarm from Deafening Blast, the Monkey King Bashes, they were just super good about taking the fights and peeling it off of the Terror Blade. VP kept trying to go in, but there was just so many different kite mechanics. It's Ursa's BKB starts getting low cooldown, Slark BKB as well, or Slark couldn't really get into the fight either. Ice Wall gets plopped down, and yeah, the Supernova almost gets off every single time. It's the Pasha landed 4-man RP like 2 or 3 times or whatever, 3-man RP, and then the one time he whiffs it, it's...
This was one of the biggest RPs that we've seen.
But is that
massive?
Not, that's what happens.
Yeah.
I know it's the stress of the grand final. It's it's the highest level of competition. You don't expect the mistakes to come, but every now and again there is going to be one. And at this level, at this time in the tournament, it's going to get punished.
It's crazy that even a fight like that, which is so like dominated by VP with the RP, Fly still gets a great position with his Supernova Egg. He gets behind him. He still gets 2 kills for OG. That should be like a 5-for-nothing kind of fight. But OG were just so good at like turning these bad fights or like slightly bad situations into at least a small win somewhere. So they never felt
this
like
was the fight.
too far.
This was the one, wasn't it?
Look, they're focusing on Ana too here though, so they do end up missing it by 1 hit again.
I mean, that's the game 1 right there, most likely. I don't think OG come back if they lose this team fight.
Yeah, I think that probably would have been just game over. I mean, this was just such great execution by OG. Their team fight prowess is...
And they lost a gem this fight too.
Yeah, lost the gem, and this was a 4-for-3, I think, at that point as well. In favor of OG, they just literally got away with it.
And this is where the Monkey King Basher comes into play here.
Another RP, it catches just the 1 Invoker, but he gets immediately forced up to those trees and gets away with the help of the Batrider Lasso as well. Like, everything done right around this RP, and OG's team fight just on another level this game.
Another thing is Solo was playing a hero that he can't actually afford to die on early in the fight. A lot of times he's playing Ogre, he's playing Crystal Maiden. If we die early on in the fight, not that big a deal. But if they didn't have Rock, they could not team fight at all, because all they had left would just be RP versus this Phoenix Egg and this Invoker combo. So Solo died a lot, but has hurt his team a lot more than it would have in a normal game.
I don't know about you guys, but I also didn't feel the impact of Lil's Tusk. It felt like a bit, not a complete non-presence, but I just feel like it was a bit underwhelming.
I actually would have to agree. I felt like the other 4 heroes had very big impacts in the game, and the Tusk, I felt like I don't really see what. I was very confused about when they picked it in the draft too, and I still didn't really understand what he was meant to do in the game.
Definitely less impactful than he's been throughout the tournament, that's for sure. Let's watch the final highlights, and the GG is exchanged at the end. Very happy No Tail and teammates after taking the opening one. wry smile from the man in the middle there of Virtus.pro. They've got it all to do in the grand finals. They try and fight their way back from 1-0. It is a best of 5, of course. 17,128 gold lead in this game, and that was at 40 minutes and 2 seconds for OG. Just absolutely crazy. For Virtus.pro, rather. And still lost the game 8 minutes later.
Look at that swing.
You can see here, 2 Aegises, 8 objectives. They took more towers objectives than OG did, but OG just found their timing, which just happened to be at 45, 50 minutes. We talked about how this matchup's going to work with VP being like the more early to mid-game tempo team, OG playing for the late game, and OG managed to get one good late game fight. That's one of those things. Dandy has this famous quote where it's like, why play for the late game when one mistake can you lose your game? Just try and win early and win fast. And that's exactly the kind of game which shows why that is the case.
Only 2 players in double figures on this one. No one 10-3-4. Ramsey's 11-4-10. And they've both ended up on the losing side.
I mean, they both were leading the net worth every single time in this game, like at the entirety of the game. And then, yeah, it was just OG's massive team fight. I feel like they just had so many different high priority heroes in the team fight that they had to go for. It's like, okay, once the Bunky can get Sebastian, you saw that they try to go like RPing him, but then the Invoker gets his spells off, the Phoenix as well. As every single one of these heroes have such a big impact.
Melini, you've gone for the MVP. I think is it in agreement? Are you all in agreement?
Yeah, we put Fly again, although this one's not as clear-cut as any other games that we've seen, just because I think, his eggs were pretty good, but his team had to protect it. They were in a position, like, if his team doesn't protect it, they just get wiped.
Look at his hero damage, actually. 15,000 hero damage. Yep. The carry, like, TB did 24,000, Invoker did 26,000. He's not far behind them as a support.
Yeah. Not at all.
It's pretty crazy.
He also varies up his items every game. Sometimes he goes pipe.
In 18 of the 24 kills as well. So did the job that they needed him to do as the Phoenix in the game. Great game from Tao. OG taking the lead in this one. From Virtus.pro's point of view, have they been asked a few questions here, draft-wise?
I don't think so. I think that the drafts.
Okay?
I think the draft. Yeah, I think the drafts are very easy or very even. I think this one was just down to like 1 or 2 small mistakes and OG capitalizing on it. I think that they did exactly what they needed to do in this game, though.
Right. What does Mad say after game 1, backstage?
I think Phoenix might be a really key hero. That was up against a lot of Phoenix counters that we thought, and I thought the Eggs was going to struggle a lot to stay alive, but it seems like they play so well around it. It might be like first face for them going up, even ahead of the Illusion heroes.
Yeah, I wonder, because you look draft here and like who's going to change things. In some ways in my head, I feel like maybe it's more likely like OG tweak a few things because they had such a rough early game. They fell very far behind. And I feel like there were some weaknesses that were being exploited. Anna died a lot this game. He kept getting jumped on. He died 8 times total. That's not normally like a number you associate with like one of those superstar mid players. 5 and 8, 17 assists. Like he did offer a lot in the team fights, but he was constantly being focused. Like I feel like OG really got bullied around in that early to mid game, even though they managed to turn around. I don't think they want to be in that position again in game 2.
Yeah, a little bit of luck on the way back in, perhaps. They have won game 1, and of course we will start to move towards game 2. Players on their break and get into draft number 2. Before we get there, though, why don't we check in with more mischief at the major? This time, Purge in action alongside Tortellini.